Welcome to the Blue Fire Digital Network.
Welcome to the War is Everything podcast, where we share scripture, discuss the Christian metal scene and music, and help promote lesser-known bands. I'm Zachariah.
And I'm Hunter.
And we are your hosts.
Today's scripture comes from Matthew 11 and verses 28 and 30. And it says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Well, welcome back to another episode of the War is Everything podcast. We're glad to have you guys with us. And we actually have a super special guest, someone that I honestly don't know how we got on the show. So, but we're glad to have him. It is Michael from Conviction. So welcome.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate you guys reaching out, man. This is going to be cool.
Well, I know with all of you guys' schedules, and you said you work third shifts, so this is definitely just God working through our schedules to get it together.
You're telling me, man. I just woke up. I was like, oh gosh. So I was like, please give me a half hour so I can get my things together.
I worked third shift for like 6 months. I don't know how I did it, so I feel that.
Yeah, not easy.
So having Michael on, what's it like, I guess, just being in Convictions? What's the lowdown?
Man, it's tough. I'm not going to be, trying to spin it any other way, man. It's tough with COVID and everything the last year. Like, we've been struggling, man. We've had all these plans of playing festivals and touring, and everything's been just shut down, and looks like it's going to happen all over again. We have a tour we want to announce for the fall, and it's just, who knows? We're just kind of waiting it out, man. So yeah, it's been pretty tough. But I guess aside from performing, which is our bread and butter, we've been writing a lot, and we were able to put out a record last year, which is something that we're this year, which we're very excited about. And it's been doing well for us, and we've been blessed and had a lot of really cool people connect with it. So I can't complain. It's just a bummer. We want to play shows.
I think we're all there as musicians.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I was just telling Zachariah, my first introduction to Convictions actually wasn't a Convictions song. It was the Billie Eilish cover.
Oh, wow. It worked. Cool.
I mean, I was searching out Christian metal bands as it was, but I just happened upon that in one of the pages, and people were like, yeah, check this out. It's a cover. Like, all right.
That's so funny. I feel like a lot of bands, like ours included, will like have this mindset of making like a pop song into a cover, like a cheat code to like grow your audience. Like, oh, they'll definitely find us now. And, I don't think it's really like that anymore, but it's funny that it kind of worked for you.
Well, that's how I prevailed at it.
Yeah, that's like one. They really did it. Those guys are awesome.
Was that the Taylor Swift song?
Yes. Blank Space.
Yeah.
That's how I found them.
Yeah. Love that band.
So with the other guys, are you guys all in the same general location, or do you guys live pretty far apart?
Oh, no. We are all split up right now. It's pretty hectic. I have Josh, our guitar player. He's like the primary writer of the band. He's in Indiana. So him and I will have to do like all our Zoom and Skypes and FaceTimes and stuff to coordinate lyrics and composing music. And then our drummer lives in Colorado, and our bass player singer, he lives in Arizona. So we are all over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
Were you guys ever all in the same spot, or have you always been?
No, at one point in time, we were all like here in Toledo, Ohio. Okay. But we all kind of branched off, and we got some new members. So, a new member. And it's just been slowly but surely, everybody's spreading out.
Yeah.
They're all trying to get away from you, or what?
Man, it feels like it. I feel like I'm the last one in the band at some points, because I'm just like, all right, what are we gonna do today? It's just me all by myself here in Ohio still. No, it's going okay. It's really not that much different because I think with the way most people communicate, it's like this, like through screens. So
Yeah.
getting people together for a band practice is almost as difficult as just getting on FaceTime. It feels like so it's really not much different.
Going back just a step, where I first heard of you guys, one of my friends was telling me he had gone and seen a show of you that he's seen you live. I guess it was probably back in like 2019. I don't know where the show was or anything.
Yeah.
But he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I saw this band, like they were really, really good live. He's like, not quite my thing, for the recording wise, but they were so good live. I'm like, let me be the judge of that. And I listened to your stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? This is great stuff.
Oh man. I mean, that's the goal, right? I mean, when you play live, like you want to, like try and win them over. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. He's more of like a deathcore guy. So like really a lot heavier stuff than we play. So
no, that's awesome. That says a lot. If it's a deathcore person, I know how tough it is to win those guys over. And now I feel like Spotify is like really wanting just to push to be a deathcore band because they put us on their like curated deathcore playlist, and like I know we're like heavy, but like that's real heavy, man. I don't know if I'm ready for that. But now we're like scratching our heads, like maybe we should just keep going heavier because it seems to be working for us.
Do it.
Oh, we've already planned it.
Do you guys? I mean, I guess because it's just you and Josh that really write. Correct, or does everybody else add in their parts?
Yeah, like like I guess when it comes to lyrics, like I'll take pretty much most of it, but the band, like everybody has a say, and like we all like contribute. And Zach is a really good lyricist, and so is Dan. He actually has been really stepping up with his like he writes most of our courses now. I feel, and he's phenomenal. Even as his own band, so like everybody pulls their weight as far as writing. But I think it most of the time starts with just Josh and I would just bounce ideas off each other. And I was fortunate enough to contribute the majority of I Won't Survive's content with like the interviews and stuff I hosted for the concept of the record. So I feel really fortunate for that. It was nice to be able to get that all out and conduct those interviews. But no, we all pull our weight. I don't want them listening thinking I'm taking all the credit.
That's kind of how we run it too. We kind of form it. It's Zachariah and I that really do it. He's the vocalist and I'm guitar and backing vocals. So it's kind of a similar setup, and then everybody adds as we get ideas rolling. So
for the most part, I'm the big metal head of the group. They all come from backgrounds that are not metal.
Okay.
So a lot of what it is I hear something in my head. I'm like, my guitar playing skills are on about a third grade level. So, I can't even sit down and play what I'm thinking, but I'll be like, Hunter, this is exactly what I'm thinking for this. And then I'll hum it out and sound like a moron, but he interprets what I'm trying to say.
Dude, I'm literally the same exact boat. Josh and I will go back and forth, and sometimes I'll be like at a red light or like somewhere inconvenient where I can't just like sit down and flesh something out for him. So I'll just have my phone and I'll just like, and then I'll be like, send voice memo, and he'll be like, dude, I got it. I'm like, perfect.
You guys have like something way too similar between the two of you with stuff like that.
Yeah,
he's done that too. So
I'll send him stuff like if I have a rhythm for a specific breakdown that I'm hearing in my head, I'll literally set my phone down and just like tap it out on the dresser in front of me, and then great.
Yep. I can't play anything, so it's my only way. Just ad lib and try and come up with something. Acapella.
Screaming only. That's what you focus on. Yours, because you said your bass player is the other singer as well, right?
Yeah. I pretty much only yell and scream for the most part. I'm doing some covers now where I'll be like trying new things, so like starting singing and pitch screaming and cool stuff. But man, it's just tough because like Dan is such a good singer, so it's like I don't know if I want to like do my like on a scale of like 1 to 10. I like I strive to get to like a 7.5 in singing, and Dan's already at like an 11. So it's like, why? I don't want to lessen the quality of our music. So screaming is pretty much my forte, and I want to master that and be as good as I can be. So I don't really like spend much time working on other instruments or anything.
That's definitely fair. Honestly, with the song that we're actually going to be talking about today, "The Price of Grace," the chorus. I don't know if you know Periphery, if you're familiar with that band.
Yeah,
honestly,
cool.
that has such a Spencer vibe to it. The way that he sings it, because it's that pitch. It's not a pitch scream. He's actually singing, but it's so high up there.
Yeah, he sings real high.
I can't even consistently hit those notes singing in falsetto, and that makes me mad.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. And Periphery is a big compliment. That band is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I want to say that it's metalcore, but you guys have a lot of progressive elements too, just with the style and the way that you play. You have some of the glitch ideas in the musical background.
Yeah, that's something that Josh and our producer Andrew Wade were working on, was really trying to branch out and do something different. So I couldn't tell you what kind of pedals and gizmos and whatnots they were using, but it was like watching scientists in a lab. It was pretty exciting to see all the wah pedals and whatever they were using to get these sounds. But I think the idea more or less is maybe not to be progressive, but just to, well, of course, to get the emotion across, but to have that like wow factor, which is like, what would somebody want to show their friends if they were playing our band? You know, like, dude, you got to hear this one part. So it was just kind of like to stand out. I think that was a lot of the intent. But like I said, emotion came first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Earlier today, we were working on some new stuff today, and there was a breakdown that is in one song that we're working on, and he started adding some like really cool dissonant stuff, over top of the breakdown. And I'm like, dude, that sounds really cool, but can you add some like convictions like stuff where it's like some cool scrapes and stuff like that? So like I use your music as an example for stuff like that.
That's so cool, man. That's all Josh, man. I don't have anything to do with that. You'll have to get him on there for a gear rundown or something.
Yeah, and I actually saw, because I'm friends with 3 of you guys. I don't think I'm friends with the bass player on Facebook, but
he doesn't have Facebook.
I saw Josh. Josh has been posting some stuff of him doing vocal covers now, and he's really working on that too. That's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Everybody's starting to sing and do all these different things. We have nothing else to do. We're not playing shows.
Yeah. Well, it gives you some time to hone the craft, which is good.
Yeah, I started working on like Photoshop and then trying to do some graphic design. So it's like everybody's just kind of like branching off, which is all we can do, but it's good to be productive and as DIY as you can,
Yeah. Not that I would plan on mentioning this because it's not really metal related, but the email that you gave us, is that for a side business?
What my clothing
Yes.
email. I used to have a clothing line. This is like 2013. It's called Phantom Horse.
Okay.
So I just kept the email, but I don't know, I might bring it back. I've actually been putting some thought into that.
All right, well, you heard it here first.
There you go.
Well, not to switch topics to get into stuff that's too heavy, but the song, this is not just any song. This is a very specific song, and it's very personal to you guys. So The Price of Grace is not one that you guys just wrote, I guess, as a vicarious, like living through somebody else, but this is a guy that you guys knew personally.
Yeah, this is a real person, a close friend of ours.
So I don't know how you want to go through the song. If you want to look at it line by line, that's up to you, or just section by section, however you want to do it. Just so that we can give the fans, I guess, an idea of the writing behind it and how it came to be the story that it is.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I can give you the audience here the backstory behind the song. I don't know if they.
Yeah, definitely start with that.
Well, we wrote the song about a close friend of ours named CJ. I don't want to like rush through the story because it's important, but
Take your time. We're not on a time limit.
I guess to try and keep it short and sweet here. We had a friend of ours named CJ, who we'd been friends with through, I don't know, the last 5 years here. He would come and see us play all over the country. It was like Texas, Florida, New York. Like he was traveling all over, and he was a big metalhead, awesome guy. We hit it off really well. Him and I kept in touch. And he had been bringing his non-metalhead friend, Travis, to these shows. And Travis is super kind, very quiet, pretty reserved, but he was really enthusiastic about the music. So it was really exciting to see somebody that doesn't know much about the metal scene kind of being brought into it. And yeah, we kept in touch with these guys, and we'd see them, as we were touring. And a few years later, so this is like 2019, I believe, I had gotten a call from CJ. He told me that Travis took his life, and it took me back. It took all of us back, really. It was really a shock. And what really sucked is that we had to go right back on the road. It was like we only had like a week's notice after I got that call. So me processing it, and I was just trying to figure out how to handle that, because this is somebody that was close to us. We began sharing their story on the road, trying to reach people, who might be struggling. I know a lot of people in the heavy music scene gravitate towards like heavy music because of how empowering it is. So a lot of these people you find at these shows are broken, or they're going through something traumatic. And so we took that opportunity to share their story and to speak out against self-harm and suicide. And the response that we had gotten was just overwhelming. There were so many people that wanted to speak and share their stories, which is wonderful. But it was overwhelming. It was such a big thing. So I think that kind of began our thought process of maybe we should be more involved and continue this journey. And shortly after, we had started writing for what would eventually become our record, I Won't Survive. And that story, kept coming back to me. And eventually I came up with courage to reach out to CJ and say, hey, like, we would love to share your story. Are you comfortable with this? Would you like to help us? And it was incredible. He shared so much of the details of what happened and how he felt, and how he's handled grief, that we were able to put that into words and create The Price of Grace. Since then, it's been incredible. There's been so many people that have reached out and shared their stories and connected with it one way or another. And it just kind of goes to show like just how much bigger that subject is than we all knew and experience. It affects everybody, not just the person, who, unfortunately may hurt themselves. It affects everyone. And I think that was an interesting perspective too, to share the story through CJ's eyes, not Travis's, and show what you may do if you hurt yourself to the people you love. And so we told CJ's story chronologically from the moment he had gotten the news of what had happened to his friend, all the way up until him reconciling with his grief and looking on the bright side of knowing that he's going to see his friend one day again. And so we told the story chronologically through the 5 stages of grief. So it starts right from when he, as I said, receives the news, all the way up until what I had mentioned. So it's been a roller coaster emotionally.
So the spoken part in the song, what was that? Is that written by you guys, or was that kind of like a note from CJ to Travis?
Yeah, so that's as I mentioned earlier, it starts from him receiving that phone call, hearing what had happened to his friend. So we had come up with the idea of, what if CJ, after he had gotten that call, were to call Travis, and obviously, there would be no one to answer. We asked him, what would you say if it, after it had gone to voicemail? If you had like one more chance to say something to him, what would it be? And it's such a touchy thing, it's like emotional thing. And I was like, please do not do this if this is uncomfortable. Like, this is just a creative idea, and maybe it could help you and others. Maybe get something off your chest. It could be really special, but do not do this if you're uncomfortable. We don't want to pressure you. Like, this is on you. Like, if you'd like this. And to our surprise, he was like, I'm going to think about it, but I'll get back with you. I need some time to process this. And to our surprise, he was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And he left us a voicemail. We listened to it once, and the room stopped. Like, we're like, this is real, and let's just uncensored. Let's just throw it in the song, and it fit perfectly in my opinion.
Is that you reading it then, or is that actually?
No, that's actually
that
him.
is CJ. Okay, I thought it was.
Yeah, that's him.
This song, honestly, for anybody who hasn't heard it yet, this song is extremely powerful. So I'm excited to have everybody hear it at the end of this episode. But yeah, it's not one to take lightly, and I mean, especially for those of us who have seen it, obviously you guys have with this story, but even with Zachariah and I and a lot of the metal community that we know, unfortunately, depression and suicidal thoughts are not uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've shared on this show before. I attempted to take my own life a few years ago. So the first time I heard this song, I was working part-time at a grocery store stocking shelves, before the place opened. And so I'd listen to music on my phone, and I heard this song, and I'm like, man, I don't want to be crying in front of my coworkers here, but this is, it hit hard.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, I mean, honestly, I've had the chance to tell my own story, live, at shows and stuff. And I've had people come up to me and tell me how huge it was for them to be able to hear that. So everything that happens in your life, God can use for good. And no matter how dark of a story it may seem to be, there's always the opportunity for God to use it for good.
Yeah. And I guess to piggyback off that, that's kind of the idea of this record, but that song too is to create those conversations and kind of break those barriers a little bit. I know that's a big goal of mine, to talk about it. That's like step one, and that's something I've said on stage. If you're struggling, you need to talk. Like, you can't, I know a lot of guys like want to have this toxic masculinity complex where they swallow their pain and they tough it out, and they you go to work and that's it, but I know statistically suicide is like most common in like men like our age group, and
3 times.
Yeah, it's insane. And communication, I think, is one of the first things that needs to be addressed in coping, with those thoughts and feelings.
Yep. It's something, and we talk a lot about, obviously, from the church perspective and the biblical perspective of everything. And I don't want to put all the blame on the church, because that's not how it works. But I feel like there's a lot of things that have become so taboo, or just something that the general church just doesn't want to talk about because it's so touchy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is definitely one of them, where people struggle. So, I mean, even so openly, and obviously many people do it in private to the point that it takes their life, or, it causes severe damage overall in the relationships and everything else. But if it was easier to talk about in the church, if groups were more likely to bring it up and actually connect with those and stay connected with those people that are struggling, I feel like things would go so much better.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a lot of pressure, I think, for I don't want to exclude any other group here, but there's definitely a lot of pressure for young men to uphold this I don't know, this I don't want to say like toxic masculinity, like it's such a
buzzword.
yeah, buzzword, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure, and to bury it and kind of hide it seems to be like the most common way of handling that. And it's definitely affected me personally. Like, when I had issues, years back, like you had mentioned. And yeah, communication is big. And in the church too. Yeah. I don't know what it's like for your church or other, groups, but I think that some of those topics should be normalized. I think it's really important.
Absolutely. So you guys are all over the country as far as, individuals, but do each of you stay pretty well connected to a church while you guys are out on tours or, even in the midst of writing an album, what have you?
It's hard to say. I know, like with COVID and stuff like that, like as far as attending churches, I don't know. I haven't been keeping tabs on my members, but I know like when we're on tour, we all say like we all agree like we experience God like in such a different, more profound way. Um, it's a different way of like looking at it, but because I know being at a church and being plugged in is really crucial. But when we're on the road, we meet people from all these different backgrounds and hearing different stories and unplugging in a way. It's pretty incredible. Like you're able to stop and really listen to God. I think when we have those like that quiet time, like traveling, it's really special to us, and we're able to reflect more on some of the experiences and people we've met.
Before we switch to our topic, which that kind of touches on a little bit, I just wanted to ask, uh, how is CJ doing now? Is he still in connection with you guys? Or are you guys still?
Yeah. I think I reached out to him maybe 3 months ago. From what I know, he's doing really well. We did like a video chat like this, and I think he's like back in school, and yeah, he's doing really well. He's, from what I know, he's going to, can't remember which university, but he's really plugged in and staying busy. And he even mentioned wanting to talk more about the aftermath of the price of grace and like how, it's not all doom and gloom, and now there's something to look forward to. There's a bright side and a lesson, I think. So I might be getting with him too to maybe finish his, I don't want to say finish the story, but like
right part two.
Yeah, like a part two. I don't know. There's ideas with that, but yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah, all I hear from that is there's a single coming.
Yeah, possibly.
That would be cool though to see it from the other side, because I mean, not that this song is lacking necessarily, but it definitely comes from the side of pain. Like you said, it was written from the stages of grief.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know it leaves on like a bit of a positive cliffhanger, and yeah, I'd like to maybe have a resolution fully fleshed out.
That would be awesome. So our topic that we wanted to talk to Michael about is on the road, keeping the faith. It's something that I know can be struggle for many bands, but for others, it's not as difficult. I know Skillet recently connected with a pastor out of a church in Arizona because they've recognized how much of an issue it is to, I don't want to say stay faithful, but to stay connected and to have a pastor that really pours into them while they're pouring out in the concerts. Because when we play live, we're not just up there playing and performing. We're really all pouring our souls out in that and trying to pour into others with the hope that we have. So for your side, Michael, what is it like touring with Convictions, and I guess the behind the scenes of maintaining your faith? I know you just said that it's a different experience altogether, but what does it look like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's not it. It's definitely not a Motley Crue kind of a like rock star cliche lifestyle. At least not for us. I know like a lot of my like coworkers or like family members will like kind of like jab and joke about that, like, oh, it must be getting crazy out there, you rock star. And it's like, you have no idea, man. It's like we're sleeping in parking lots. We're like eating gas station hot dogs every night. Like it's not it's not what you think, man. I don't know. It's such a different experience for us. Like it's really, there's not those type of temptations that we encounter. And at the same time, we're not really like a bunch of party guys. Like if we have a day off, I'll tell you, like our days off are so exciting to us because we go to a mall and we shop a little bit if we can, or we sightsee, and then we go see a movie. And if we're really lucky and we're doing well, we might go out to eat at like Applebee's or Waffle House. Like that's as crazy as it gets, man. It's like, and it's a big day for us. We love that.
You gotta calm down, party animal.
That's what I'm saying. No, it's just I think just accountability, like I mean, we're aware, of like temptations and things that I'm sure we could get in trouble with, but it's really just not something that like is really on our mind. I mean, we have a member that's married. One is going to be getting married here in October. Like it's not really in our minds, and experiencing, as I mentioned earlier, like God and having these really profound experiences with Jesus on the road is like incredible. Like I can't, at least for us, it's just insane. Like I don't think a lot of people know just how good people are. And it sucks because there's so much negativity out there and there's such a toxic stigma around how everybody's out to get each other and everybody wants to, it's like the number one thing that's like pinned off the top of all social medias is like terrible fighting and something ridiculous like a fight at a Walmart or something. Like in reality, there's an insane amount of good people out there and generous people that we've encountered, and it's, I don't know if it's God, I'm sure it is, but it's also just the good nature of people. Like people want to be good, people want to do good things, and you will experience it. And I don't know, it's just been a profound thing for us. Like, wow, people are really good, there's really good people out there. And then those moments in between where like you can unplug, maybe sightsee, or you see a mountain, or like we were changing the tire on the side of the highway, but there's like nothing to see but like a salt lake in Utah or something. And it's just like you're quiet and you can like almost hear God. Like it's really special. Like I don't want to sound like a hippie or nothing, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's like those like moments you just really got to like unplug, I think. And it's hard for me, I know, to get that. Being here at home, it's just so much hustle and bustle, and I'm working so much. And then when I have days off, it's like I just want to sleep. I don't want to go to church. Like I know I should, but it's I don't know, when you kind of unplug and you throw yourself out there in the world, like you have no choice but depend on God in certain times, I feel.
That's an interesting perspective, because from the majority of people, I guess, that I've talked to, granted, we've been in the scene barely a year and a half, so my time is nothing compared to your guys. But from what I've seen, a lot of people tend to struggle more on the road, but I find that interesting. It sounds like you struggle more at home when you get the chance to be comfortable.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, we definitely struggle on the road. Like, but the thing is, like, when we struggle, it forces us to depend on God. Like sometimes, like super literally, like I can tell you, like one of the last tours we went on, Josh and I had to take our van and trailer out to Colorado to begin our rehearsals, and like the whole axle of the trailer came off, like not just the wheel, the whole like axle. So like we were dead in the water, and it was literally like the moments like that where we depend on the generosity of strangers, where they're like, oh, like I'll tell you, I have a flatbed, like it's for my pole barn or whatever, but I got you, man. Like, and you're like, what? Like these people just show up out of thin air, and it's just like we have like we barely have like two nickels to rub together, and some guy with a spare trailer just shows up out of thin air, and it's like, and he's doing it for free. It's like, wow, thank you, God. Like, but like we were like moments before, like to the point of tears, like, God, please show up. But like he does sometimes. It's incredible.
Awesome. I know we have felt very similarly, but now with the whole touring side of things, I think all four of us at one point in Blue Fire Horizon had issues, I think consecutively, where we were all just struggling. Practices were here and there. And yeah, it just seemed like the attack from the enemy was all around us. But after a while, it seemed to definitely thin out, and God definitely showed that his hand was on us. So
that's really good. Do you, I guess I have a question for you. So taking up your faith in music, have you felt more vulnerable or I guess like attacked in a way?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, we've experienced that.
There was a point, probably 4 months time span, 5 months, something like that, that one after another, it was almost predictable because I even made a joke. I'm like, man, Hunter struggled, Rock struggled, I struggled, Maddie, you're next. And then she hit a point where like everything was up in the air for school, work, like her whole life, and just it was. I was joking, but it was, we lost a member in that time. In doing so, I lost a very close friend. Like it just, there was a really rough time span that was no more than 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, you kind of open that door for spiritual warfare. The flip side of it, though, is like, well, God will always win, and the payoff is so much. If you want to look at it like that, like what you're gambling is like so much bigger and better. Like the return you're gonna have is like insane. I don't want to look at it like in a selfish way, like we're gonna get so big now because we're credible. Like it's not like that. I'm just saying like the good news that you're putting out there and the people that will hopefully respond to it is so much more rewarding than a selfish endeavor. I mean, like, look at this. Like, we're talking right now. Like, had we never, set out to write what we wrote, I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now. That's incredible,
Yeah.
So it's worth it. Like, stick to it.
No, it's been interesting. I think the more that we push for it, the more that we focus on our prayer and our individual study times, that seems to be when we're trying to write lyrics that are as biblical as possible. That's when we feel the presence of the enemy trying to stop us in whatever we're doing, whether it's our wives. The three of us are married, and then Maddie, who is still in college. So just everything, it gets attacked from all sides. The more that we're trying to follow, which is obvious. I mean, it's going to happen, but it's obviously not enough to deter us in any way.
Right. Yeah, we definitely, speaking for the band, like we would love to encourage you guys to continue that. I know that's something that whenever we encounter like-minded bands, it's always exciting and we want to encourage them. So yeah, definitely stick to it.
Well, we appreciate it. We definitely need the encouragement every once in a while.
Yeah.
I got one question for you now. Answer honestly, and none of us are going to get offended. Have you heard any of our music?
I can't say. Have we played together at one point? Okay. Okay.
Unless you're offering.
Yeah, I mean, where are you guys based out of?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. So you guys, I'm trying to think. You guys have some good venues.
We've played like 5 live shows at this point, so we haven't played a whole lot of places.
The Eagles Ballroom in Milwaukee would be one of them. There's
the one that's like 3 floors up. It's like
something like that. Yeah.
It's like in the center of this like quirky hipster town. But you go up like 5 flights of like stairs, and it's this big room.
Yep.
And like Fall Out Boy and like My Chemical Romance like started there. Like it's like one of those like legendary venues.
I think so.
I don't know.
Yes, that's the Rave, right?
Is it the Rave?
I'll look it up.
But no, we haven't. Most recently, we played at Life Fest, which is a big Christian music festival in Oshkosh. So that was pretty cool. We opened for Gold, Frankincense, and Myrrh.
Yeah, we know those guys.
And then
Gals.
Who played Friday night? Oh, that was DAV.
Yeah, DAV was after us Friday. But they're local as well, so.
Wow, this is really hard to read. Oh my gosh, why is it so glittery? Sorry, I was trying to find the name of that venue in your area. But Life Fest, that's That's the bee's knees right there. That's what you want. We love Life Fest. That's awesome. You guys get to play it.
Well, when we're hoping to add in other festivals this coming year, assuming that the Delta variant stays away enough, but we'd like to play at Kingdom Come Fest and Chains Unchained and a bunch of the other ones in the general area. So
yeah. The tough thing was that 6 month or so time frame that I was saying was pretty rough on us was right about when you would want to start getting your name out and getting scheduled for all the summer festivals and everything. So we were pretty not active in that regard. So
yeah,
missed out on a lot.
We could have played Life Fest together. We were booked for it, but with COVID, it was like so tough to say, and we didn't have like a really big window to like decide on waiting it out and risking it or doing it. I know that was a big bummer for us. So we're right there with you, man. Like it was really tough this summer for us.
Well, I can tell you right now, I know the guy who runs Life Fest every year. There's absolutely no way he's ever going to cancel it again.
Really?
Yeah. Hell would have to freeze over before he's canceling Life Fest again.
Wow. That's good news.
Hope to see you guys there next year, at least if not before that. But
yeah.
Any plans to be up in Wisconsin anytime soon?
Maybe for this fall. We're, like I mentioned earlier, we're trying to figure that out. We have like, I want to say more than half of our tour booked, and it's not looking good. I want to do it. I really do. See what happens.
Well, and that's really hard with all the states having their own say in how open they are. So you could have entire sections of your tour just totally destroyed because, 3 states in a row just don't have venues open.
Right. And with that routing, you could be doing a 12-hour drive, like to catch up to the rest of your tour or something. And that's sometimes not financially, possible.
Well, we don't want to keep you much longer. Is there anything closing that you would want to add? Any advice or just some other tips for other musicians or, I don't know, fans, whatever you got?
Good question. I think advice for newer or upcoming musicians. It's hard not to sound cliche. Writing from the heart. Like maybe for me, like it was hard not to write music that was like everyone else that I was inspired by. And when I would, it really wouldn't, I don't know, it wouldn't make much of a difference, or I wouldn't like hit as wide of an audience as we were hoping. But being vulnerable, like you guys had mentioned, and kind of putting it all out there, the risk for reward is like so much better. Like you can, if you can hit one person and affect them in a positive way from writing from your own heart, like I feel that's so much more worth it than to maybe write like a cool song or something that would be like a fly by night kind of a trend thing. So I would like to encourage other writers to try and write from the heart and say what they mean, and maybe not worry about how cool they look or something. Like it's it's definitely been a blessing for me being able to try and be transparent and vulnerable. The impact is amazing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming and joining us on here, Michael. It was good to talk to you. I was still surprised that we even managed to get you. So.
Oh man, no, thank you. This is awesome.
Well, enjoy the song. We're going to be playing The Price of Grace right after this. So thank you guys for joining us for another episode, and God bless. You can help support us by heading over to anchor.fm/TWIE pod and clicking on the donate button, where you can select one of a few monthly donation rates of $1, $5, or $10. All money helps keep this podcast up and running, as well as supports lesser known Christian artists. Thank you for listening, and God bless.
Circles, like spiraling around the room. vocal, I'm in denial, lost in the setting of your silence. Lost in the setting of your silence. They found the note you left behind, and the lethal dose you took the night. We lost touch when the basement door was melted food.
Lost beyond the grave, found your own way. I hope the price of grass was worth the death of pain, 'cause I feel like I'll never find peace with the way you left me. I hope the price of grass was worth the death of pain, 'cause I curse the day you gave up on everything. I can't see a light, there's no result, I'm finding nothing. I can't see a light, there's no result, I'm finding nothing.
Filling empty bottles, drinking myself sick. Smash my soul to pieces, shattered glass beneath my chest. Malice fills the void. Malice fills the void. How could you leave your family behind? You embraced your demons and gave in to suicide. You deserve to survive.
Lost beyond the grave, found your own way. I hope the price of grass was worth the death of pain, 'cause I feel like I'll never find peace with the way you left me. I hope the price of grass was worth the death of pain, 'cause I curse the day you gave up on everything. I can't see a light, there's no result, I'm finding nothing. I can't see a light, there's no result, I'm finding nothing.
Hey man, I know you may not ever get the chance to hear this, but just wanted to tell you that I love you. One last time. I've never felt so alone. I don't know why you did it. Didn't you just say something? Why didn't you just warn me? Can't even go back home, 'cause you're not there anymore. You're my brother. I would have done anything for you. I miss you.
What happened to brothers forever? You said we'd grow old together. I'm reaching out to the heavens. Can you hear my voice? How can I live on knowing that this was your choice? I will